at the one of the strong points of the Rotterdam rules is that it takes care of the interests of landlocked countries. In other words, it enables you to have a door-to-door, as it were, system of affreightment. So, but I think as we operate it, we'll see whether or not there are efficiencies in the area of multi-mechanism. But there's something called the letter of the law, there's something called the spirit of the law. By the time we start operating the rules, when we do, we'll see whether or not there are quickly address the issue of multi-mechanism. And don't forget also that the Nigerian system itself is not completely multimodal in its approach. We have inefficient rail system, we have an inefficient road network. So when talking about whether or not Rotterdam rules address multi-mechanism properly or completely or adequately, we still do have to do a lot of work on what's on ground. Thank you.
One more question before we close. Yes.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Chinembe Omoma from Kela Partners. My question goes to Professor Ajogu. First and foremost, I must say that we are rather privileged to listen to this presentation ahead of the formal presentation of your book on a very similar topic, which coincidentally will be happening at this same hotel Friday, June 23rd, 2017. My question is, especially in your view, what would be the best model for ship financing, but more than ship financing, marine financing in Nigeria, putting into consideration the peculiarities of Nigeria, going from currency issues that we are having with uncertainties in the economy. I'm thinking that it might just be high time that experts in Nigeria come up with a different and unique financing model for financing projects generally, and also vessel financing to be able to accommodate the unique circumstances that we face here in Nigeria. Yesterday we talked about FPSO as the way forward in the marine operation, but the biggest issue remains any bank that will be able to finance this nature of projects, considering the capital intensiveness of these projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Chineme. I must say that I was startled that the question came to me from within. But the truth is that when we have had these discussions with those IOCs and the people who ultimately, I say, need these vessels because they are the ones who need them and can pay for their services. One thing that comes out of all of it is a leaning towards going outside of the country because they have them. There's not a problem with the financing, there's not a problem with insurance issues and so on. But the truth is, we will remain at this point and be talking about cabotage forever unless we put, there's a saying that if ships were affordable, every Greek would have one. It is not that we don't know that a lot of 90%, as Mr. Logo said, of all that happens, cargo movements are in that field. It is that there is just no resource to back it up. And I believe that if we put the CDFF to what the people who thought of the CDFF were visionaries. The problem now is to make the fund achieve what it was set out to. And to do that, there has to be high-level engagement with the banking financial system here, and with both local and foreign professionals. You need to have law firms from outside, advisors. Am I concurring with the plan? And when those things are done, the plan is there, with all respect. But you see, you may spend hours in the kitchen cooking, but as long as the guests have not inserted their cutlery in the food, it is not happening. So these plans have been there. They've gone to advanced stages, but we have not drawn down. And then nobody can question that. So we do need to have a model where there's a supporting fund backing up the Nigerian financial system. And that way we can, that is for me the future of financing vessels in Nigeria. Otherwise, we will just be scratching at the surface, and the real revenue, you will do vessels that are less than $2,000-3,000 a day. The real 12 to 15,000 vessels a day revenues will go where people have put out a more robust financing structure for. That's my view. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Stephen. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings, well, I had said that was the last question. Okay, please. Yes.
I've been the secretary of the CBFF fund. It was with the banks, and the banks were supposed to disburse it, but what we told them is that whatever happens to the money is the bank we are going to hold responsible. And the banks, now having the weight of the whole process on their head, decided that they have to do due diligence. They have to know what business you are actually doing. Are you a Portmanteau ship owner or a businessman? And by the time we assess all those applications, I think we had more than 10,000 applications. Everybody wants to buy a vessel. Yes. By the time we assess, some don't even have an address, because we have to visit your offices where you say you have an office and there's no office. So the bankers were afraid of even talking to those people applying, because we said if anything happens, it's the bank that will be held responsible. And they did, I think they came up with about 10 names, and then everybody became interested in the CBFF loan. And the House of Assembly said they want to see the list. And you start going to all the bureaucracy. The minister has to look at it, then the House of Assembly has to look at it. The senators say they want to have a look at the CBFF, and then the money is there. And then up to now it has not been disbursed. So there's a lot of politics in it. The money has been generated, and it keeps moving from one bank to the other. And there's so many things there that as a civil servant, this one I just want to enlighten us on the CBFF, why we are not getting it, why it's not done the way it should be done, which is a very good initiative, but the system is also against it. So maybe the lawyers can sue the master.
I'd like to make a little contribution on this last input by Mrs. Saman. Way back in 1993, I was then chairman of Nigerian National Shipping Line before it was long gone. We had a National Maritime Authority, which had the precursor of the CV fund, where they called the Ship Acquisition Saving Fund. And at that time, they were talking of disbursing this money to people to buy ships. And I cautioned, I said, look, I told the DG of the NMA, I said, don't just send out the money, it will disappear. You have to do what banks do. If the bank gives you a loan to further your business, don't just hand you the money and sit back and watch you. It will actually sit down with you every day and look at your business and make sure that you're running properly. I said, by the same token, when you give any loan to any ship owner, you have to be in control of what they're doing and monitor them and so on. Anyway, they ignore that, they want to hand out the money. And most of the money were used for other purposes. It was lost. And the vast majority was never recovered. So, to go the same route again will be disastrous. Now, you get the route of getting banks involved. Banks do not have the capacity to monitor and to oversee the operation of ships. It's a very specialist thing. So we're caught in a sort of circular situation. Really, I don't know what the solution is, given the nature of Nigerians. You see, other people, you will say, well, take the money and do business, and they'll do it. But Nigerians, we have a penchant for using money for burial ceremonies and parties and buying motor cars and so on and so forth. So I don't know what the solution is, but we have to find a solution somehow. So we'll throw the ball back to you, the last
Sorry, the advice given to the master, and I just want to restate it here again. When you get involved as a sovereign, dictating how disbursement should be made, you will have the National Assembly and everyone, because rent seeking will come in. What typically happens when you have an industry purpose specific fund is you do on-lending. You domicile the funds with a custodian who does on-lending to the bank, and the banks will render returns on the specific sub-lending they've done in that sector. You can do it with private equity firms and with banks. What will then happen is no National Assembly person will telephone Guarantee Trust Bank to ask them who they found to be bankable, who they found to have met requirements of security. They will not be able to do that. It's because it is still your fund in a way, and they're just merely custodians, that you have all ruling party interests involved in knowing how they still see it as a cake, a booty, whereas it should be a fund that is given to the banks for on-lending. And that way it's no longer your problem. If the bank mislends, they have a CBN to deal with on non-performing loans, and they give you back your money. So that's my suggestion, but I hope it happens.
Yeah, well, it's still the bureaucracy they won't let go. They know there's a Maritime Bank that is supposed to be open and be operated for such funds, and you still see that this thing is not taking off. We'll discuss that one as well.
Well, this is an ongoing discussion, so perhaps Cynthia and